Okay, everybody, welcome back to, a video. I'm going to talk a little bit in this video about taking lecture notes. Now, in all my classes, I require lecture notes. And usually I let students start getting their feet wet with taking lecture notes, whether it's in class or online, watching videos. Get their feet wet the first couple of weeks as to the process and getting used to, everything it's expected and required. And so we're a few weeks into the class now, so I want to give you a little bit further guidance on taking lecture notes. And going forward, I'm providing this video, this guidance, in hopes that you will begin to develop your notes a little bit better going forward. And going forward, I'm going to hold you closer to these expectations. So if you're not doing the kinds of things I'm going to talk about in this video, you're going to need to change, and get better at taking lecture notes and that sort of thing. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in and show you a couple things. The first thing I'm going to show you is the grading rubric. Now, there's a link to the grading rubric, likely in your class in a folder towards the top of Blackboard that says important documents and tutorials. If you go there, there'll be a link for the grading rubric. So that's what I have up here on my screen and what you can see. And some of you have probably seen this already, but I want to jump down here to, excuse me, I want to jump down here to this part about how you get your grade. And this rubric is also used for assignments in my classes. But you can see, if you look at this, it also applies to the lecture notes. And, I hold the same standard on doing really good work, whether it's written assignments or your lecture notes, that your thoughts, your ideas, and your answers well developed. You thoroughly address the questions or the topics of the lecture. For example, in this case, you use your textbook, no grammatical or punctuation errors. Okay, so this generally applies, like I said, to all assignments that you have in my class. So what I would like to talk about is some things not to do, first off. So taking lecture notes, it's very easy to just copy what I'm saying. Many of you have access to the PowerPoint slides, the Google slides that I use. It's very easy to open those up and copy those, just type them up or write them out, turn that in. And it's expected you do a little bit more than that. Obviously the problem with doing that is you're not really thinking about the material, you're just writing stuff out. This oftentimes is apparent when you do bullet points on lecture notes. Bullet points are really easy to do, really simplified. And I'd like for you to develop your ideas and your thoughts more. I was giving guidance to a student recently about what they could do to make their lecture notes better. And the best guidance I gave was make sure that you write your notes in complete sentences. That tells me that you're listening in class or you're watching the videos, you're thinking about the ideas, and you could jot down those ideas in your lecture notes and then develop them out a little bit more after the video is over, for example. But the point is you do need to have detailed lecture notes. They need to be thorough. I'd encourage you to go back to the textbook and be careful not to just copy what's in the textbook, but use that to help you better understand what we're trying to cover in class or what I'm trying to talk about in terms of a sociological concept or idea. So there's the grading rubric right here. Again, it's in the important documents tutorial folder in Blackboard. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, is a guidance for lecture notes. And this is new, and you've not seen this until this video probably. I've developed this after a document, some guidance found at the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill Learning Center. So I've taken that work and I've adapted it to fit our purposes in this class. So this link is going to be in the same folder. This video will be a link, and then the link to this document will be in that folder as well. So I encourage you to go read the document in more detail. If you want to get better at doing something, you've got to put in the time and the work. And so I do, think that if you want to do this better, you're going to need to go read this. I'm going to highlight a few things, but you need to go get a better idea about taking lecture notes. Now, in my field of sociology, when we do research, we take good notes. And so part of what you're doing is modeling that behavior as a sociologist would. And so sometimes maybe taking lecture notes is taken for granted. But again, in this class and for what I want you to do, I'd like for you to do good lecture notes. Now, why do good lecture notes matter? Well, notice what it says. Here's an important part of academic success in college. Actively taking notes during class can help you focus and better understand main concepts. In many classes, you may be asked to watch an instructional video before a class discussion. Good note taking will improve your active listening, comprehension of material, and retention. Okay. There's also some post-class benefits. Of course, in my classes, I encourage you to use your lecture notes when you take the quizzes. So there's a major post-lecture or post-class benefit. And now, how to take good notes. Well, there's a lot that may be going on during class. Part of good note-taking may include going back to your notes after class to fill in the gaps. In fact, doing so can help you better organize your thoughts and ideas to determine what's important, right? Preparing to take good notes in class. Now, I'm covering these specific items in this document because I think you should do this, okay? And if you've not done it up to this point, that's okay. But going forward, it's time to up your game a little bit, okay? The first step to taking good notes in class is to be prepared. Here are some steps you can take to improve your note-taking before class even begins. Preview your text prior to the lecture. So if you know we're covering Chapter 3, open your book up to Chapter 3. In this case, I've got our book right here. Your book might look a little bit different because a lot of my classes, they use the 3-ring binder version. But if you know we're covering Chapter 3, open Chapter 3 up before class starts, the night before, or just even 10 minutes before class. Get an idea of what you think we might be talking about, okay? Look at what notes you took previous, because oftentimes in my classes, a lecture or video lecture, whether in-class lecture or video lecture, is going to be building off something we talked about previously or something that I covered previously. Okay. Note taking in class. So again, please go back and read this. All right. Determining what's important. There's also guidance here. Oh, this is, I think, a really useful part here of this guide. Different formats for notes. Some people, for myself, I use an outline. I love outlines. So when I'm doing a lecture, whether it's in class or video, oftentimes I'm using an outline. Now the outline is now up here, but I have it used it so much, I've visualized it, and I have so many outlines I could share with you about lectures that I do. So outlines work really well for me. You're welcome to do an outline, but you still got to be careful because I'm asking you to be thorough and detailed, make complete sentences, and that sort of thing. Maybe a flow chart or a concept map. Now, there are links in here, and you could click these. When you click the link in Blackboard, and you're going to see that it'll take you to more information if you want to learn more about that. So let's not take it for granted, taking lecture notes. It's an art form in some respects. It really helps you to get quality information, process it, understand it. And when you start writing it out or typing it out, you're articulating that information. So keep up the good work. Work on getting those notes a little bit better and improving as a student.